A wise man told me you don't listen to the media to get informed, but to understand what they want you to believe. First, if you haven't, you need to watch this disturbing footage.
Hi, I'm Fox San Antonio's Jessica Headley.
And I'm Ryan Wolf.
Our greatest responsibility is to serve our Treasure Valley communities,
the El Paso, Las Cruces communities,
Eastern Iowa communities,
Mid-Michigan communities.
We are extremely proud of the quality, balanced journalism that CBS 4 News produces.
But
we are concerned about the trouble and trend of irresponsible, one-sided news stories plaguing our country.
The sharing of biased and false news has become all too common on social media. More alarming, some media outlets publish these same fake stories without checking facts first.
The sharing of biased and false news
has become all too common on social media.
More alarming, some media outlets publish fake stories without checking facts first.
Unfortunately, some members of the media use their platforms to push their own personal bias and agenda to control exactly what people think. And this is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
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 How sweet is that, isn't it? What about the public opinion about the media's credibility? Well, Gallup, an American analytics and advisory company, drove a survey in September 2022 showing that about 60% of Americans have no confidence in the media.
The media has lost its hold on the narrative. Has it, Ben?
I definitely think it has, and that's one of the reasons why you see this frustration on the part of a lot of old legacy institutions like the New York Times, like the Washington Post, at their inability to control the narrative in the way that they would like. You saw that particularly during the Trump years when the entire Russiagate conspiracy fell apart in front of them. And the reason that people are turning to outlets like Substack, the reason that they're turning off the channels like CNN is that when they get this narrative pushed on them over and over and over again, and then it turns out not to be true, then they start to look for other sources. They start to look for other people who might have, the right perspective on these things. It is no accident that a story as dominant in terms of our current narrative as what's come out of the Twitter files was done by a lot of people, who are acting as individual truth-pursuing journalists, not people who are part of these big, massive corporate entities that are legacy institutions and that, frankly, no longer have control over people's minds and over the narrative that takes place on a daily basis.
So true.
Being informed about what's happening in the world we live in through available news outlets is crucial. However, do you think mainstream media is here to provide genuine, authentic news to inform you? For free! Have you ever heard about the saying, if a product is free, you are the product? How? Well, the cost of running a big media corporation is way too high for people to pay for it. And the goal for those institutions is obviously to make money, prioritizing profit over critical journalism. This is when advertisers are entering the scene and willing to pay the cost of the media in exchange for your attention. And that is exactly how you end up being the product before even noticing it. The main question arising is, why can't the media tell the truth? Noam Chomsky, in his book Media Control, says, like in politics, the mainstream media is monopolized by powerful people who adhere to an elitist ideology. The journalist Walter Lippmann dove deeper in the rabbit hole, calling the masses the bewildered herd. He suggests that the real mission of the media is to maintain this herd where it belongs, as passive spectators. The herd is not as active participant in the leading of a society. This elitist ideology is based on the notion that most people are too stupid to fully understand things. If they try to participate in managing their own affair, they're going to cause trouble. The bewildered herd should be tamed with an illusory world created by the media, otherwise could rage and trample and destroy things. Matt Taibbi, the journalist, talks about why they can't tell the truth.
There was a very influential article in 2016 here in the New York Times called "Trump is Testing the Norms of Objectivity in Journalism." And the author, the columnist, essentially said that journalists not only have to worry about being true, but they have to be worried about being true to history's judgment. And what this really meant was that we no longer can trust the audience to just sort things out on their own. We can't just give them the information and worry about being accurate and hope that they'll make sense of it. We now have to give them information and try to steer them in the correct direction, because the implication is we don't trust them to make that decision anymore.
For those of us who aren't chosen to partake in that globalist sphere, the question arises if the controlling of the bewildered herd is done to foster a prosperous and flourishing society, or to maintain the concern of a few to the detriment of society at large. The rules are not made for your own best interest, but they are made for the best interest of those who make the rules. Common sense. Yeah, but how is the media steering people in the desired direction? Well, they manufacture content. To name a few: terrorism, immigration, racial conflicts, shortages, all leading public sentiment in the desired direction. Fear is effectively resulting with complacent citizens. Monsieur Voltaire, famous French Enlightenment writer and philosopher of the 18th century, suggested that so long as the people do not care to exercise their freedom, those who wish to tyrannize will do so, for tyrants are active and ardent and will devote themselves in the name of any number of gods, religious or otherwise, to put shackles upon sleeping man.